have therefore made the assessment that COVID-19 can be characterized as a pandemic.
To keep new cases from entering our shores, we will be suspending all travel from Europe to the United States for the next...
That's a pretty good job we've done. It's going to disappear one day. It's like a black hole. It will disappear one day. This is a pandemic. I felt it was a pandemic long before we were a pandemic. But this is going to be a very painful 2 weeks. We took good care of every place. We didn't miss a trick.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today, we will investigate a grave topic that has affected all the 7.8 billion people on this planet. Did a Chinese wet market start COVID-19? Or did the virus escape from China's high-security Wuhan Institute of Virology? Despite all the conspiracy theories, the lab leak idea has gained traction and needs to be taken seriously until a rigorous data-led investigation proves it wrong, said many scientists. Let's find out how. Recently, 2 highly informative articles served as eye-openers on the issue. Nicholson Baker's The Lab Leak Hypothesis in the New York Magazine and Nicholas Wade's The Origin of COVID in the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists. The turn began when 18 experts from universities like Cambridge, Harvard, and Stanford sought a transparent probe in a letter published in the Science Bulletin. In review, lab accident and zoonotic spillover are both viable theories pending more data. Also, Anthony Fauci and Centers for Disease Control Chief Rochelle Walensky have now conceded that the pandemic might have started in that lab. Meanwhile, China refuses to allow independent access to the lab or its records, which means it's hiding something, if only other biowarfare research that it insists it's not doing. Of course, there is no evidence to argue against the Wuhan Institute of Virology laboratory virus leak. If there were any, we would have heard it already. Similarly, there is no evidence in support of the wet market transmission theory. This is clearly a diversion tactic to draw attention away from the laboratory leak. The best evidence we do have, however, is the adamant denials of a laboratory leak. Combine this with a lack of access to relevant laboratory data and the disappearance of scientists and physicians who know the truth in Wuhan. Together, this is the best evidence that the highly infectious coronavirus was created at the Wuhan Institute of Virology in Wuhan. Let us give you 6 primary reasons why we think it was a lab leak. Reason number 1. Virus jumps across species require time for a virus to adapt, and it would likely infect at least one intermediate species before transmission to humans. But tests of 80,000 animal samples in the first infected areas of China all came back negative for COVID-19. And the bat species that most likely to carry coronaviruses dwell 1,000 miles away from Wuhan and would have been in hibernation when the first cases appeared. Reason number 2. This particular coronavirus showed up seemingly out of nowhere, perfectly suited to attack humans, which would be quite the mystery if it hadn't first popped up in a city with 2 virology institutes that were studying bat coronaviruses. Reason number 3. Significantly, a Yunnan province bat coronavirus closely studied at Wuhan Institute of Virology, BAT13, is COVID-19 nearest genetic kin. Also, unlike other SARS-linked beta coronaviruses, SARS-CoV-2 spike protein has a furin cleavage site with an ideally located, infectivity-boosting cluster of 4 amino acid units. This unusual feature helps the virus to breach human cells, and its origin is a subject of furious speculation. Reason number 4. MIT identified work by Shi Zhengli, a top scientist in the Wuhan lab, as an example of gain-of-function research. A method of developing vaccines by first making a virus more potent and tailored to attack human cells. Unfortunately, she did much of her work in a room with only the same level of sanitary and safety measures as a US dentist's office. Reason number 5. Even Chinese media discussed improper waste disposal at the Wuhan Institute and the employees selling lab animals on the black market before the outbreak. Reason number 6. By January 2021, the U.S. State Department has released some document that indisposed Wuhan Institute of Virology researchers showed COVID-like symptoms in autumn 2019. Also, cell phone use in the facility stopped for 3 weeks in October, suggesting a work halt, perhaps for evacuation or decontamination. And clearly, the lab leak theory won't disappear. So, Chinese authorities must allow access to all relevant records in Wuhan's labs and also the wet market. What are the unforeseen consequences of trying to play God with nature? The pursuit of knowledge is noble, for sure. But science needs a better reason for experimenting with killer microbes than to know if they can kill. And in last, hit the like and subscribe button if you love the research done. Please comment on the comment section about what you think of the lab leak theory and the next topic on which you want us to make a video. See you in our next video. Till then, please take care. Thank you and goodbye.